Welcome, this is Scott from My Life's Reward. We've got our 2024 top 10 ATV trails in Michigan. You'll notice that this year I'm doing 10 rather than 5, just because there's so many great trails in Michigan. So let's go on to the criteria that I use to select these trails. If you've watched my videos in the past, you'll know that I just love the elevation changes, so that's always going to be a high desire for me, hence number 1 on my list. Do look for the good trail clearances too. We do have one riding person in our group that has some roll bars at a Honda Pioneer, and if the trees are too close to the trail, it's a little harder for him to drive. But they're always nice to have that clearance for everybody, just so that we don't have to worry about rubbing on trees. We can just drive a little bit faster. Of course, we always like to see scenic features, whether they're water or vistas. Those are always nice to take a break and check out the views on the trail there. And then if there's water on the trail, like if you're actually going into larger puddles, or submersing the tires and or just going through a mud puddle, it seems to always be a little funner when you do that. So those are some things we look for. Drummond Island is an example of anytime during the year when you go to Drummond Island, there's usually always some sort of water somewhere on the trail. Using that criteria, let's get to our number 10 trail. We have a newcomer to the list, the ATV Trails. With that, we have the Molasses River flooding area to the east to look at, and we have the Molasses River on the north side of the North Loop, on the north end of the North Loop, the Mosquito Alley Truck Trail, which is also in the northern part of the North Loop, and then the Scramble area, which is on the eastern side of the South Loop. And this makes for some exciting activities, whether you're going on one loop or the other. There's lots to do, and a good addition to the top 10 list here. The South Scramble area is fairly flat, not a lot to do there, just a lot of sand and a lot of play. On the north side with the truck trails, the Mosquito Alley, lots of hills, very technical, and you have to be careful. You could very easily flip your ride over. So something to watch out for. Lots of water, at least when I was there. Quite challenging, some of these hill climbs. A memorial here with 4 names attached to the tree. And then at the intersection here, lots of different directions to go with the MCCCT trail. New to the list at number 9 is Leota Trails, centered to the state of Michigan, near Houghton Lake off of 27. Pretty easy to get to. We have nice wide trails, and everything in the Leota Trail is sort of centered around the Muskegon River, with 2 trail systems that are on each side of the river with a bridge crossing in between. Got some flooding areas here with a beaver dam. Nice elevated views of the Muskegon River on both sides. A great trail system, wide, nicely marked, and lots of amenities nearby at Houghton Lake. And you can get into the Denton trail system that's on the south end of Houghton Lake here from the Leota Trails. Beautiful trail system, nice area to visit. At number 8, we have the Black Lake Trail, and there's 2 loops, the north and the south loop, but I thought I'd also throw in Bummer's Roost and the Red Bridge Trail that are nearby on the south end of the lake. We have a play area that's probably not official on the north end of the North Loop, and we have a scramble area that is in the South Loop that is frankly could be quite scary. There's some steep eroded elevations. You just got to be really careful. I mean, there's lots for everybody to do at all levels, But some of these elevations you just want to be careful of in the scramble area. You could get yourself hurt pretty quickly. Ride with a partner if you're going to do some of these higher elevation ones. Black Lake has a lot to see with the lake and the water areas. Highly recommended. We plan on returning to Black Lake very soon to get some video. At number 7, we have the Cedar Creek Trail. This is the southernmost trail system in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, although it is on the west side near Muskegon. It has a great trailhead, beautiful elevated views of Cedar Creek, benches if you want to sit and take a break, whether you're riding or perhaps walking. Nice benches. Near the trailhead, there are some narrow tree clearances that you need to watch out for. I think you can take the roads to bypass, though there are signs that say no more RVs riding on the road. The lesser of two evils, not sure. Some nice bridge crossings over Little Henna Creek on the North Loop Trail. There are 2 loops here. There's a north and a south loop. Just a great trail system, beautiful views, nice and wide beyond where we're near the trailhead, and just a great ride. Coming in at number 6 is West Hagen Stratford Trail. Nice trailhead, easily accessible off of US 27. This trail has lots of smaller hills, but it does add excitement to the riding, and there are plenty of them. Beautiful vista views in different parts of the trail, and there's even a memorial or perhaps a burial location for Ed Briggs III on 11/11/2012. Nice trail system, center to the state. Coming in at number 5 is St. Helen Motorsport Area. You know, if you want a location that has it all, this is it. It's centered to the state, accommodates vehicles of all sizes, and it has everything: hills, water, trails, routes, scramble areas, technical challenges. It's expansive. It can accommodate vehicles of all sizes in this rock climb area, the hills, the scramble area. Beautiful hill climbs, water everywhere. You could bury just about anything in these areas. There's a little bit of a lake here that you can travel around and possibly even drive through it. Highly technical. St. Helen is a ATV ORV friendly community. And if you want to experience a little bit of something for everyone, St. Helen is the place to be. Strongly recommended on this list. Coming in at number 4, we have the Frederick Trail with both a north and a south loop. Nice trailhead. Lots and lots of large hill climbs and descents. Makes for an exciting ride when you have this kind of geography here. With the location being very near I-75 and centered to the state, it's easily accessible to just about anybody. And the emphasis on the Frederick Trail are the steep hill climbs and descents. Lots and lots of fun. When we drove this on the South Loop, we went clockwise, and I thought that worked out pretty well. And on the North Loop, we went counterclockwise. Clockwise would have been nicer hill climbs and a little more exciting. The Frederick Trail loops, both highly recommended. Coming in at number 3 is the Kalkaska Trail System. We have a north, a central, and a south loop. Quite an expansive area that the Kalkaska Trails cover. You need a few days to travel all these trails. You're not going to do it in one. There are multiple trailheads, at least 4, to access the trails at different parts. On the north loop for the Kalkaska Trail, there are some nail-biting climbs and descents. You can get yourself into trouble here in a hurry with some of the descents if you're not careful, or even some of the climbs. I would look it over, take your time, and just be sensible about it. And then if you complicate it further like we did here with snow, it just makes it even more treacherous. But if you do it right, you can sure have a lot of fun. The descents, the hill climbs, all that, most of those are on the north loop, and they start at pretty much the tippy top, and they go over into the east part of that loop. So the northeast section of the north loop is where you will see most of these elevation changes. But there are elevation changes throughout most of the loops. Depending on what your driving level is or what your comfort level is, you could pick the loop that's more appropriate for you. The Kalkaska Trail System, highly recommended. Check out the Kalkaska Trail System. You won't be disappointed. Next up at number 2, we have the Tomahawk Trail. This trail is located at Indian River, and Indian River is a spectacular location that kind of brings a lot of things together. You have Burt Lake, Mullet Lake, you have the confluence of the Sturgeon River, the Pigeon River, the confluence of that goes into Mullet Lake. It's also the center of the Michigan Inland Waterway that goes from Lake Michigan to Lake Huron. Then back to the trail, we've got a nice trailhead, and we have this trail is one of the other treacherous trails. Lots of nail-biting stuff going on here, folks. Now, you're seeing some video here that does show a section of the trail, and the whole trail is not like this. 95% of it is flat and easily rideable. It's just, you need to know that this is here, and you're going to have to go through it if you choose to go on this loop. We have the steep descents and the steep ascents with close quarter trees and turns while you're going either up or down, and you just have to have awareness of this. Some of these hill climbs put you right up front and center on some of the most intimidating drop-offs that you'll ever see in the state of Michigan, at least based on my experiences. So take your time if you want to do this trail. Enjoy the ride. You won't be disappointed. And at the top of the list, coming in at number 1 for the 3rd year in a row, Drummond Island. What's not to like about Drummond? The ride just to get to Drummond Island makes it worthwhile, with the Straits of Mackinac, the drive along Lake Huron, the ferry crossing, the fact that you're on an island. Drummond Island has mud, water, rocks, views that are just never ending. On the trail system, there's Devil's Playground, there's Marblehead with the steps, all of the fantastic views around those, South Shore Beach, Shale Beach, Jeep trails are just absolutely insane, water over the trails. You could lose your quad in some of these locations. It's an incredible place to be. It's on the Badge of Honor Jeep Trail. Hey, Drummond Island, you want to get there, you want to try it. It's for everybody, beginners, intermediate, advanced. Pack a picnic lunch over a couple of nice days of weather and just get lost on Drummond Island with the many trails, routes, and you'll see why it appears on my list after 3 years as the number 1 destination location for ORV and ATV riders that want to ride trails. And for Drummond, it's also a great destination for routes for the wider 50-inch plus vehicles, check out Drummond Island. Won't be disappointed. The side-by-side comparison between last year and this year, I did have a top 5 last year. I changed it to a top 10 because there are just so many honorable mentions, and I couldn't make my mind up. So I thought, hey, the more trails I ride in Michigan, the more I like. I'm just going to change it to a top 10. And you can see the comparison here between last year and this year. Also, I do have on my website, in my life's reward, this Michigan ATV Trail reference if you want to see what amenities each trail has and the types of trails, and then there's links to videos out there to make it easier for you. So with that, I want to thank you for stopping by the channel and checking this video out. And until next week, take care.